Hello, it is Musings with Mookie. I don't have my computer open, so I can't give you all a rundown of what what do you call it? Of who's watching. But I mean, last time, and I just did it recently, so we don't need to poke the bear. I think it's been since the early part of May since I posted, but I have 4 or 5 in the queue. Then I have another 4 or 5 that haven't been titled yet yeah. Anyway, I'm working on multiple things. And this is what happens when life gets a hold of you. And so I've been thinking about something, and it shouldn't be part of this musing, but maybe it will be. I know. I've been thinking about something, and that's becoming like a singular person, but that's really hard because I'm involved in everything. But this musing's not about that, so let's move on. So today I was at my daughter's field day. This will be the 14th field day I have been to since my kids have been in elementary school. I want you to understand, my oldest is now in college. So since he's been going, and they only have field days in elementary school, I think they should have field days in middle school and high school also. I think it continues a sense of community that the high schoolers and the kids can carry on into college or just going into trade and hanging out with friends. I really believe that you should, but this music isn't about that either. I'm all about a good time, all right? But I am also a loner, so it's a weird conundrum. Okay, I do a lot of thinking and observing, so I'm here to build something. But I'm sitting at this 14th field day, and by the 14th field day, and I think some remnants of a military career of loud noises. And I wouldn't say I've been surrounded by a bunch of loud noises, but you don't need a lot of loud noises. But the remnants of a military career have been catching up with me along with my age progression. Meaning I'm getting older, and those rounds of ammunition that were close to my ears without hearing protection is doing something. And the sirens, and it's just doing something. So, like I said, in my 14th year of being at field days, I have strategically found places to sit where it doesn't sound loud. And not just field days, but being in gyms, being around yelling and screaming parents at rec basketball, at football. I always try to find somewhere to sit where I'm not sitting in front of someone. And the reason is that whenever someone starts yelling, clapping I can deal with. If they're not doing a loud popping, where you cuff your hands together and you do that and they're not sitting behind my head, then I'm fine. I can tolerate that. But whenever there's high-pitched noises or there's yelling to the point of screaming, and being in enclosed areas is so much worse. And the gymnasium is so much worse. There is this sharp pain that enters my ear, and it sets off something in my head. I still haven't looked it up yet, and I meant to Google it earlier. But I've been doing some other things. And so I'm sitting at this 14th field day, and I'm sitting at the far end of the field because lo and behold, one year I decided to sit on the end of the field where all the kids were, and the screaming took off. And I thought I was about to have a panic attack because my brain was feeling like someone was shaking it. Now, once again, I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor. I've never treated any ears. I don't know nothing about this. I take my kids to ENT because the doctor does the referral. I don't take them all. There's one that still has to go to ENT. So I am sitting at the end of the field. I'd be like, this is a good spot. The kids are on the other end. It's very shallow down here. And I'm sitting down, and a guy walks up behind, and he takes off yelling. That's in my first reaction, because the pain is so sharp. If you haven't had this before, that's fine. It doesn't matter. A lot of people have good ears, and you guess something happened to mine along the way. I turn around and I say, "Hey, can you not yell? It really hurts my ear." And the odd thing about this is that I open my drawer where I keep things that are precious to me. Like I may keep some piercing jewelry or some additional jewelry, and I see my earplug container. And I said, I gotta remember to take those. But the brain fog, the perimenopause, and all this other stuff. I had my backpack, and it was the only thing I didn't have. I had my umbrella, I had a book, I had a bottle of water. I didn't bring the camera because I forgot to charge it the night before. I had sunscreen, the chemical sunscreen, because I'm allergic to the mineral sunscreen because I'm allergic to the chemical, and the bug spray. The only thing I didn't have was the earplugs. So the guy grabs me by the shoulder and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and he stops yelling. And then another guy walks up, and I tell him the same thing. And then this lady, I say, "Hey, can you not yell?" And then another one, and I say, "Oh my goodness," I said, "It's just." And so the first lady I addressed, she got snooty. She kind of rolled her eyes or whatever. No, there was no provocation. I wasn't being rude. I don't like to give a rundown of my medical history, but it wasn't that I wanted them to be quiet. If they wanted to clap and call out there, it was the screaming, the yelling. Yeah, if you're not a parent and you haven't been to any sporting events, whatever. But since basketball, I've started wearing earplugs as if I was on a gun range. And I don't even think I had my headgear for when I go to the gun range in my car. So the earplugs would have been, usually stick them in a small pocket, but that's neither here or there. She then whispers to the friend, and I ignore it. Because you want to chit chat with your friend, I'm not finna get in there. And so she starts yelling again, and I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah, really. You can't tell me how to." I was like, "I'm not telling you to do anything." Like I said, I've been doing this 14 years, and I knew the next event was going to be the worst event, and that's the tug of war, because you're screaming the whole time. Kids, parents, or whatever. And once again, I try to find a spot where I am not near, and I thought I did, but I lucked out. So I ended up covering my ears for most of the time because everybody's screaming. You kind of pick your battles, and when I said it was no one screaming but a few select where I was, and it was a whole lot more on this side, that's exactly what it was. And then because this is about concessions. As I was sitting there by myself, and then to the right of me, to the left of me, there were some people. To the right of me, there were some people. These people that, the whole yelling fiasco, she came up with her mom that was later identified. She asked for concessions from the couple that was to the right of me. Could they move their chair over so she can sit down, because she can't stand for long periods of time. Very old lady, probably in her 80s or 90s. At least that's what she looked like to me. And so it kind of, as I'm talking back and forth to these people, and because I'm talking, they're yelling, throwing their hands, bobbing their heads or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm not sure what's going on here. I just asked for some concessions for this. I didn't tell you, and it was like, you can't tell me not to cheer. I said, I'm not telling you not to cheer for your child. And then the old lady, her mother chimes in and says, "You're making me get loud." She's now standing up and attempting to yell, but I swear she would have gave herself a heart attack. But she's standing up attempting to yell. Like when I don't know. If you ever heard an older person get irate, but you know they don't have the lung capacity to do it, that's exactly what it looks like. Well, she's getting up. You're making me stand up and. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's so funny. Humans are funny. We're hilarious. When you're making me stand up, wanting to get loud, and I look at her and said, "No, I'm not." And she was like, "Well, your child needs someone to cheer for." I was like, "No, she doesn't. My daughter doesn't even like loud noises. Like, me and my boys are more rambunctious than my daughter. Like, my daughter likes to play and whatever, but she's more of a gentle and kind spirit. And she also has a pitchy voice, so I try not to get her riled up. She starts screaming. It's just, yes. And I said, "No, not by you. You all transfer terrible energy." And so the other lady tells her mom, "Oh, stop talking to her because she's feeding her." I was like, "This does not feed me." And I look at her and I look her up and down and I said, "Whatever this is, there'll be no good to come of it for you." And she just kind of stands back as if I, cast a spell on her. And she just gets quiet as if I scared her. I did nothing but I said it calmly, actually. And it was true. Nothing will come of this interaction that'll be good for her. I mean, I wasn't calling the police on her. It just seemed like a mean-spirited, which I told her. I said, "This is very mean and nasty for no reason." And then I turned around and continued watching the game. And they didn't get too much louder after that. Besides, I had ignored them. I wasn't there for them. I can't continue standing up to take videos of my daughter and sitting back down, making sure I'm not standing in front of nobody. Like, it was just a weird interaction. And I think when I look at the grand scheme of it, this old lady, why I found it funny, this old lady had asked for concessions from other people that she didn't know because she couldn't stand and she didn't want to sit in the back. So she asked other people to move over for her. When those people could have been like, "Well, you can sit back there. We don't want to move. That's not what this is for. It's not a moving party. It's for us to watch our loved ones." But yeah, that's what I dealt with today. And I also figured out that I should really just keep the earplugs in the car because I never know when I'm going to need them. I should just keep a pair in my bag at any given time. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be over prepared for nothing. I got one more year field day. I'll remember to bring my earplugs. Yeah, I'll just remember to bring my earplugs. But we got to stop this whole getting irate over nothing. Or actually picking a fight. Like, for what? But yeah, remember that just when someone asks you for concessions, remember the concessions that you asked for at one point. Or you still ask for. But I do just, I don't know, just be good to each other. I got that saying from someone else. Just be a good person. That's their saying. But just be good to each other. In the days to go by as intended to. Nice, calmly, quietly, and with good measure. Yep, this has been Musings with Mookie. Episode whatever it's going to be. I don't know. One day I'll get on track. Who knows? Maybe not. But it's been good chatting with you all. Hope I inspire someone to do something great. Talk to you later. Ciao. Bye. 15 minutes.